All right, guys, if you haven't checked out our latest Tuesday night podcast, we were talking about three major indicators that I believe personally is saying that we are headed to a buyer's market.
That's correct. The buyers are cooling off. They're becoming smarter, wiser. There's other things that are going on. We really talk about that. It's our first topic on our Tuesday night podcast.
One of the things that we talked about was National Association of Realtors published a report that took us up to March 31st of 22. What it really showed us was 28% of the buyers were cash buyers. And, so if you're a buyer and you've been sitting on the sideline, that's one of the reasons why you haven't been getting your deals accepted, because you were competing with cash. The other thing that I thought was very interesting is that 30%, again, of the buyers are millennials.
With that being said, they've been fueling this high-priced market because they've had access to cash from their parents.
Right, which is allowing them to pay over appraised value.
Over appraised value, absolutely.
And we're starting to see now, though, even with that, right, with the interest rates rising, it's about 30% more that you're paying for the same price house from just a year ago with the increase in mortgage rate. And even that's now starting to slow them down.
It is. We're seeing that.
Yeah, because they still have to make the monthly payment.
Correct.
And probably the repairs in the house as well.
Absolutely.
So we are seeing a cooling off in the market. The second indicator is that we feel that we're at a pricing tipping point. And we have talked about this before. My personal opinion, I think that we are at the top of the market. And though a lot of people disagree with that, I've been through this a couple of times, the ups and downs in the 32 years I've been serving the housing market. But this Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas actually published an article on their website, links below, that they have this real-time market monitoring system. And it finds that there are signs of a brewing U.S. housing bubble.
And the term exuberance comes up, which is an abnormal, highly driven, explosive appreciation.
The history of the U.S. exuberance indicator that they're referring to, it's shown against a 95% threshold that we're seeing here in chart 1. It's the statistic plotted in the bottom panel, delivers a market temperature reading like that of a personal thermometer. The exuberance indicator shows the temperature, and the confidence upper bound is in an abnormal threshold. And this threshold we witnessed back in really the mid-1997s.
I believe 97 to 2008.
2008 when we saw the crash.
Yeah.
And they go on to talk about in the last 5 quarters of 21, this level, this exuberance level, this excitement of buyers is over that 95% threshold, indicating it's an abnormal market.
Right.
And again, they say that it's from FOMO.
FOMO.
You millennials, you know what that means.
Yes.
Fear of missing out.
Absolutely.
So their indication shows that we are potentially in a housing bubble, but they also go on to say that they are not saying that any kind of an adjustment will be to the magnitude, economic magnitude, the crash that we experienced in 2008.
That's correct. Yep.
And guys, one thing I want to point out here, because I'm not a financial advisor, I'm a real estate broker. One thing I want to point out is that this is based on my opinion. 32 years of serving the housing industry, from being a contractor, a builder, a home renovator, a salesperson, and a broker, right? Managing transactions. So, these are my opinions, but I do think that we are really there. And thirdly, the third indicator that we want to talk about here is
supply chain.
Supply chain, yep.
Yeah. So we're seeing that things are coming back on the shelves, and actually even more so. And now we're starting to be in the plus. And what are the steps? What are we going to do with all this over inventory?
And it may not be the brands necessarily that the builders like to use, but a lot of the building materials are back on the shelves. You can see evidence of that at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. In fact, we're going to show you here that the US DOT has a tracker system that actually shows the progress. And guys, the interesting thing is that about 40% of our goods that come in the United States come into California. and the two coasts that, the two ports that they have there. But really, the interesting thing is the goods get around the country, about 70% of those through tractor trailer trucks or trucks, not trains.
So along with that, there's a lot of inventory under construction. We can see it. We can see properties or neighborhoods, I should say, that are in the works. And you can see that they have done a lot of clearing and we're getting ready to build, especially in big cities. You can see cranes. Once the supply chain loosens up, you'll be able to see new inventory completed and it will be hitting the market.
That's exactly right. And also a point to that is that, a lot of people think that we're in a housing shortage. Guys, there are a lot of houses that are slated for building and that have already started. And this supply chain has just bogged them down. All right, guys, in this final slide here, the US DOT supply chain tracker shows progress as supply chains remain stressed. But the big thing is, despite challenges, there are signs of progress in our goods movement chain. America's ports, including the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, collectively imported more containers than any previous January. Total number of containers ships waiting at berth at U.S. ports has dropped by 35% since peaking in early February. And goods are successfully being delivered, guys, and actually to the highest levels in history and 6% above pre-pandemic levels. Guys, this is important. And because the reason why I feel this is a big indicator is that you just heard it. People are overbuying a lot of these building supply companies because they were out during the pandemic, and all this propaganda of us being in short supply of houses in America. No, we're in short supply of houses being delivered, new houses being delivered. That coupled, with a lot of other factors here, once this loosens up, these supply companies are going to be, some of them are going to be screwed because they're going to have so much inventory, they're going to have a glut. And then once things really loosen up, they're going to have to liquidate a lot of those goods.
Yes.
And believe me, guys, we do not have a housing shortage. When you start seeing this new home inventory hitting the market, we might have a glut of it, and builders are going to be competing for your business. And I want to clear up one other thing before we go.
Okay.
A lot of people disagree with what I'm saying as a buyer's market coming, right? And guys, understand something. The last 18 months, the last 2 years, buyers have been overpaying for houses. Appraisers haven't been able to keep up with the rising home prices. But the thing is wouldn't it be a buyer's market if a buyer didn't have to pay $50,000 over list price or appraised price for a home in cash? Wouldn't it be a buyer's market if they could have a normal home inspection, know what they're buying, and ask the seller to fix something? I'd like to know your answer to that. What you think, guys, if you can drop it in the comments below.
Absolutely.
All right, we thank you so much for watching this video, guys. We always appreciate your thumbs up if you like the video. Guys, if you'd like more information like this, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell and you'll know when we post.
Till next time.
See you soon.
Sachs Realty, Maryland broker number 607720, office number 443-318-4514, equal housing opportunity.